We will move on to the Maryland State Senate, District 9. This is a single seat. You are able to vote for one candidate. There are two candidates for the Republican primary. Each candidate will begin with 30 seconds of opening remarks. We will begin with Gail Bates.
Are we on now?
Yes.
Thank you. I'd like to thank the League of Women Voters for putting on this forum. Thank you very much. Hope that doesn't count to my 30 seconds. I'm Senator Gail Bates. I'm finishing my first term in the Maryland Senate. I have been very active in Republican politics all my adult life, and I have worked closely with government both at the county level and the state level. I have a proven record of service to the people of District 9, and I would appreciate their support for re-election. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Bates. Reid Novotny.
Thank you. My name is Reid Novotny. I would like to thank the League of Women Voters also, and I would also like to say that we should all remember those in Ellicott City this week. It's been about a week since the tragic flooding. Why I'm running is based on service and also change. I've been in service of our country for almost 2 decades at this point, and I also want to bring a change and new leadership and new energy down to Annapolis. Because if we continue to do the same things, we will continue to get the same results. And I want to help represent those in Howard and Carroll County. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's begin our question session. If you would like to respond, please hold up your card or your hand so that I can see you and call you in the order in which you are seen. You will have 1 minute for each response. The timekeeper is sitting in the front row to let you know when you have 30 seconds remaining and when your time is up. Question 1. Do we need high-speed transportation between Baltimore and Washington? If so, what would that look like and how would you fund it? Mr. Novotny.
Thanks for the question. I spent 2 years actually living overseas in Japan, and that's where they have a great high-speed infrastructure. The infrastructure is set up differently there. Obviously, the population centers are different. But I would say that, yes, we need to move our people more effectively and efficiently and try to move into the 21st century. There is an ability to move people quickly in trains or just building out the infrastructure like we have today. My funding pattern would be through public and private funds. This is something that's not talked about enough, I believe, as we move forward. But it's very important because there are companies out there that can make money and serve the public good. And this is the type of infrastructure projects that I would like to bring to the table. So yes, we should increase our ability to move people because that's wasted effort if people are just sitting in traffic all the time. And I want to bring different efficiencies to the way our government works, spends money, and actually moves people to and from where they have to work. Thank you.
Ms. Bates.
Thank you. This is an issue that's been rising for decades as to whether or not to bring the high-speed train to the area. We do have train service between Baltimore and D.C., and I can tell you when I worked for another delegate who represented part of that area, one of the problems we were having is it was not efficient, it was not on time. People, the trains would either be early or they would be late, and it became very unpredictable. I think we need a predictable service. If high-speed rail is the way to go, then I'd like to see the numbers and make sure that we can handle it. I understand there are an awful lot of folks that live along that corridor that are not supportive of it, so I think it's going to take a little bit of education, perhaps some research to determine whether or not we actually move forward with it, but it certainly is a possibility on the horizon. Thank you.
Thank you. Like the rest of the country and across income and class lines, Howard County is experiencing an opioid crisis, including the abuse of prescription drugs. What do we need to do to effectively respond to this crisis? Ms. Bates?
I know the governor has been working with some folks on this problem. We've had meetings. I know Howard County Republicans have had meetings to talk about some of the ways that we can be wise about what's happening and also to try to stem this problem. We happen to live along the opioid or opium corridor, I-95. It is very easy moving drugs to and from. We also have issues with certain medical people prescribing very lengthy use of certain opioids or certain pills for pain and so forth that then get into the hands of people that shouldn't have them. I think we need a comprehensive program. We need treatment. We need to have good education, and we need to work to eliminate some of these long-term prescriptions that can get in the hands of the wrong people, or it can become a commercial commodity for teenagers to get other drugs. So it's a serious problem, and I think we have to look for some serious answers to try to stem this. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Novotny?
Thank you. This is an important issue that's facing the entire country, and especially here in Maryland. So I would agree with Senator Bates in the sense that we do need to address this not only at the state level, but at the local level also. Programs of education will help. I don't think that's the only answer. So I will say that my background is in cybersecurity and IT and big data. There's a way to model who is getting these prescriptions and which doctors are abusing these rights to prescribe different opioids. So we can actually dig into some of that data and actually target the individuals either by the actual doctor themselves or by the company, and we can get to some of the problem that starts the problem with different individuals. I think we've all had friends or family affected by this, and I know I have. So my heart goes out to the problem, but it doesn't start just with the individual. I know that my father actually has some of these. Thank God he's not addicted at this point, but he has a lot of back issues from being in Vietnam and jumping out of too many airplanes. But it is very important to target the start of this, and I appreciate the answer.
Thank you. Maryland recently passed legislation requiring domestic abusers to turn in their firearms. How would you enforce this? Mr. Novotny.
Thank you for the question. This is one of those very difficult questions to address. Nobody can be for domestic abuse. I mean, that's one of the worst things you could ever imagine. I would hate to be in any of those type of relationships, and it is really, really terrible. The other part about this, though, is that I'm also a Second Amendment supporter. So we need to make sure that that line between protecting individuals and protecting our rights as Americans, protecting our Second Amendment rights, is balanced. So I want to make sure, first of all, I don't think the law was written clearly enough. And I would actually be interested in refining the way that law was written, because it could be abused. There are ways that you can get through what we consider loopholes. So my goal would be to ensure that it was written correctly, go back there and protect our Second Amendment rights while we're also protecting anyone in an abusive relationship. Thank you.
Ms. Bates?
Thank you. It is essential that our constitutional rights also be protected, as Mr. Novotny has indicated. And as I recall, I don't have the specifics right at the moment, that I believe that in order to remove guns from a home, there had to be a court decree, so someone had to have a burden of proof. I believe we do need to keep our rights safe, but we also need to make sure that we protect individuals that are in abusive situations. It is a very complicated issue, and we did try to address it this year, but I think there may be some tweaking that will need to be done. But again, it's a matter of certain rights being protected, but also we have the right to have our charges against us to be indeed verified or adjudicated such that we are not abusing that loss. That would be my solutions, to look to make sure that we're doing it the proper way.
Thank you. Each candidate will now have 30 seconds for their closing statements, beginning with Reid Novotny.
I just want to thank everyone again. This has been such a great opportunity. I want to thank Ms. Bates for her 16 years of service down in Annapolis. I also want to thank all the people I've met on the campaign trail. This has just been such an amazing opportunity to get to know more of my neighbors, get to know District 9 more and more every single day. And there's so many great places out there. There's so many great businesses. I look forward to representing all of you down in Annapolis and hopefully bringing Maryland into the 21st century as we move forward. And thank you so much for your time.
Ms. Bates?
Thank you. It has been a real honor to be able to serve the citizens of District 9, both in the House of Delegates and also in the Senate. I bring to the role not just the legislative role, but I also served as an assistant to a county executive, so I understand the various roles of government and know what our limitations are, but how we can work together to solve our problems. I am a budget hawk. I spent 12 years on the Appropriations Committee in the House of Delegates, looking for efficiencies and making sure that we're doing the right thing with your money. Thank you.
There is one candidate in the Democratic primary for Maryland State Senate District 9. The candidate may give a statement of up to 4 minutes. Katie Fry-Hester.
Good morning. My name is Katie Fry-Hester, and I'm running for State Senate in Maryland's District 9. Following the devastating flood in Ellicott City, I would like to extend my heartfelt sympathies to the friends and family of Sergeant Edison Hermond. While the future is not yet clear, one thing is certain: the people of Ellicott City are strong. I'm proud to be one of them, and I look forward to advocating for funding for this city at both the state and the national level. As an engineer and a business consultant who's worked in international development, I've spent 20 years working on really complex problems. And usually those problems involve bringing people together, governments, communities, and civil society, to solve them. They come from different perspectives, but they can work together to solve those problems. So I came with a collaborative outlook, and in the 2016 presidential election, I was shocked by the partisanship and polarization that followed. I asked myself, when did my neighbors and my friends start defining themselves by red and blue lines? Here in District 9, I believe we are more alike than we are different. We all want the same thing. We want good education for our kids, quality health care, and the ability to make a living. We all want a secure future. So I have 4 priorities which will help to secure this future. They are education, healthcare, thoughtful investment, and an affordable retirement. First, in District 9, we pride ourselves on really great public schools. I have 2 daughters. They are ages 9 and 12, and having been endorsed by both the state and the county education association, I will fight for full funding for our schools here in District 9. In addition, I really want to work with the business community to identify the gaps in skills that are necessary to fill so that we can create a pipeline of graduates that are ready to be employed. Second, we must ensure that healthcare is affordable and accessible. I know so many people without health insurance, and when tragedy strikes, these people are forced to raise money online from friends and families so that they don't go bankrupt. Healthcare is just too expensive. Our state budget has 33% of it, the biggest single line item, going to healthcare. I will work with others, the industry, and experts in Annapolis to make healthcare affordable and accessible to all in Maryland. Third, we must invest in the industries of the future. This means renewable energy, cybersecurity, value-added agriculture. If we invest in these industries, we can help the environment and help the economy of Maryland at the same time. Finally, we need to ensure it's easy to retire in Maryland. Over 50% of the people in District 9 are over the age of 50. When I talk to them, they're concerned that they can't afford to stay once they retire, and they can't watch their grandkids grow up. I will work and advocate for those folks in Annapolis to make sure they have the resources they need and we have affordability in place so they can stay in Maryland. My career has given me the knowledge and skills for public office. I have worked with governments and businesses to create jobs. I've worked to develop local agricultural markets overseas. And I've partnered with all these different groups to create partnerships and opportunities that work for everyone. In Annapolis, I will bring a fresh perspective, independent thinking, and new energy. Whether it's healthcare, education, investment, or retirement, I am the person to get things done. My name is Katie Fry-Hester. I'm running for State Senate, and I'm asking for your vote. Thank you.
Thank you.